It was a quiet evening in late autumn, the kind where the sun dipped low behind the hills, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and gray. Jack Thompson pulled his old pickup truck into the gas station off Highway 12, just outside of small-town Milford. The air carried a chill, and leaves rustled gently under his boots as he stepped out. Jack was a single dad, raising his 8-year-old son, Tommy, all on his own since his wife passed away 3 years ago. But there was more to Jack than met the eye. He worked undercover for the local sheriff's department, posing as a mechanic to keep an eye on shady dealings in the area. Tonight, though, he was just a tired father, heading home after a long day. The gas pump clicked on, filling the tank with a steady hum. Jack glanced around the dimly lit station. A few cars dotted the lot, their headlights cutting through the gathering dusk. That's when he noticed her. A young woman, maybe in her mid-20s, sitting on the curb near the air pump. She was pregnant, her belly rounded under a loose sweater, and she was crying. Soft sobs shook her shoulders, her hands covering her face. Her dark hair fell in waves, damp from the light mist in the air. She looked alone, vulnerable, like the world had weighed her down too heavy. Jack hesitated for a moment, his hand on the pump handle. He wasn't one to pry into strangers' lives, but something tugged at him. Maybe it was the memory of his own losses, or the way Tommy sometimes cried when he missed his mom. He capped the gas tank and walked over slowly, his footsteps scrunching on the gravel. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said gently, his voice low and calm. "Are you okay? Do you need some help?" She looked up, her eyes red and puffy. They were a deep blue, like the ocean on a stormy day. She wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand and shook her head at first, but then nodded slightly. I don't know," she whispered. "My car broke down, and everything's just falling apart." Her name was Emily Carter. She didn't say much more at first, just that she was stranded, miles from home. Jack offered to take a look at her car, a sleek sedan parked awkwardly by the side of the road. He popped the hood, his mechanic cover coming in handy. It was the battery, dead as a doornail. Easy fix, but she'd need a jump or a tow. While he worked, they talked, slowly, like unraveling a knotted string. Emily shared bits and pieces. She was 7 months pregnant, the father long gone after he found out. He'd left her with nothing but heartache and a pile of doubts. She was driving to clear her head, but now here she was, crying at a gas station in the middle of nowhere. Jack listened, nodding along. He told her about Tommy, how raising a boy alone wasn't easy, but it was worth every sleepless night. "There's something about being a parent that changes you," Jack said. "Connecting the jumper cables makes you stronger, even when you feel weak." Emily managed a small smile. "I hope so. I feel so lost right now." The engine roared back to life, and Jack stepped back, wiping his hands on the rag. But she didn't drive off right away. Instead, she asked if there was a diner nearby. She hadn't eaten all day. Jack knew the place, Emily's Diner, just down the road. He offered to follow her there, make sure the car held up. She agreed, grateful for the company. At the diner, the fluorescent lights buzzed softly overhead, casting a warm glow on the checkered tablecloths. The smell of coffee and fried eggs filled the air. They sat in a booth by the window, rain now pattering gently against the glass. Jack ordered a burger for himself and insisted on paying for Emily's soup and sandwich. She protested at first, but he waved it off. "You're in a tough spot," he said. "Least I can do." As they ate, the conversation flowed easier. Emily talked about her life in the city, how she worked long hours, always on the go. She didn't mention details, just that it was stressful. Jack shared stories of Tommy's soccer games, the way his son laughed at silly jokes. It felt natural, like two people finding a quiet harbor in a storm. But as the night wore on, Emily's tears returned. She confessed more. The pregnancy was unplanned, and she feared she couldn't handle it alone. Her family was distant, her friends too busy with their own lives. "I feel like I'm drowning," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Jack reached across the table, his hand hovering before gently touching hers. "You're not alone tonight," he replied. "Sometimes, that's enough to start with." He drove her to a nearby motel, making sure she checked in safe. "Call me if you need anything," he said, scribbling his number on a napkin. She nodded, her eyes holding his a moment longer than necessary. The next morning, Jack woke early, Tommy bouncing around the kitchen demanding pancakes. But his mind was on Emily. He called the motel, just to check. She answered, sounding better. "The car's running fine, thanks to you," she said. "But would you mind if I stuck around town a bit? I could use a friend." Jack smiled into the phone. "I'd like that." Over the next few days, they met up. Simple things, a walk in the park, coffee at the diner again. Jack introduced her to Tommy, who was shy at first but warmed up when Emily asked about his favorite cartoons. The boy chatted away, drawing pictures of superheroes on napkins. Emily laughed, a real laugh that lit up her face. Jack felt something stirring inside him, a warmth he hadn't known since his wife. But he kept his undercover life hidden. No need to complicate things. He was just Jack, the mechanic, the dad. Emily opened up more too. She spoke of dreams she had as a kid, wanting to build something big. "But lately, it all felt hollow. Success isn't what I thought it'd be," she said one afternoon, as they sat on a bench overlooking the river. The water flowed slow and steady, leaves drifting on the surface. "What do you mean?" Jack asked, turning to her. She sighed, rubbing her belly gently. "I run a company, a big one, tech stuff, apps and software. I'm a CEO, and a millionaire, I guess." Jack blinked, the words sinking in slow. "A CEO? Millionaire?" She didn't look the part, her clothes simple, her car nice but not flashy. He'd assumed she was just an ordinary woman down on her luck. "Wow," he said finally. "That's impressive." But Emily shook her head. "It's lonely. Everyone sees the money, not me. The father of this baby." He was after that. "When he realized I wouldn't give him control, he bolted. Left me questioning everything." The twist hit Jack gently, like a wave lapping at the shore. He hadn't seen it coming, but it made sense now. Her poise, the way she carried herself even in tears. Yet, it didn't change how he saw her. She was still Emily, the woman crying at the gas station, the one who made Tommy smile. "I get it," Jack said. "I've got my own secrets. I'm not just a mechanic. I'm undercover for the sheriff, watching for trouble in town. It's why I keep things close." Emily's eyes widened, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned in. "So we're both hiding, huh?" They laughed softly, the tension easing like mist in the sun. As weeks passed, their bond grew. Emily decided to stay in Milford longer, renting a small house. She worked remotely, her laptop humming with emails and calls, but she made time for Jack and Tommy. Dinners together, where Tommy helped stir the pasta. Evenings on the porch, watching stars peek through the clouds. One night, as rain tapped the roof again, Emily felt a sharp pain. Contractions at too early. Jack rushed her to the hospital, holding her hand through the fear. The doctors stabilized her, but it was close. In that sterile room, with monitors beeping softly, Emily looked at Jack. "I don't want to do this alone anymore," she whispered. "You won't," he promised. The baby came a month later, healthy and crying loud. A girl, Lily, they named her. Emily held her close, tears of joy this time. Jack stood by, Tommy peering over the bed with wide eyes. In the quiet aftermath, Emily revealed more. Her company was thriving, but she wanted change. "Maybe I can scale back," she said. "Focus on family." Jack nodded. "And I'll be here." No more hiding. They built a life together, slow and steady. Jack left the undercover work, taking a desk job at the sheriff's office. Emily moved her operations partly to Milford, investing in the town. Tommy gained a sister, and a mom figure who read him bedtime stories. Years later, on a similar autumn evening, Jack and Emily sat on their porch. Lily toddled around, chasing fireflies. Tommy, now taller, kicked a ball in the yard. "Remember that gas station?" Emily asked, her head on Jack's shoulder. "How could I forget?" He replied, "Best breakdown I ever fixed." They shared a kiss, soft and lingering. Life wasn't perfect. There were still tough days, worries about the kids, the world outside, but they had each other, grounded in love that started with a simple act of kindness, and in that, they found their happy ending.